Hello, my name is Prime and welcome back to ATS Showcases, and today I'll be completing my very first look at the 1.55 open beta update for American Truck Simulator. This update is packed with great features which I'll talk about in today's video, but arguably the headline item of this update is the introduction of the full Kenworth T680 Next-Gen release, bringing countless customization options and configurations for this truck. It's been a long time coming, and now we can finally customize our T680 Next-Gens. Starting here with the cabins, we have three different options: the 76-inch sleeper, the 52-inch sleeper, and the day cab configuration. Depending on the cabin type you select, your chassis will vary as well. For this 52-inch sleeper, you have two 6x4 options, specifically the MX Optimize, which is the slightly shorter hood, and then the 206-inch chassis variant, which gives a little bit longer hood. There are a variety of engine options available, with configurations from PACCAR and Cummins. Similar to the engines in the transmission department, there are a few options available, ranging from 6 speeds all the way up to 18. And then the interior, and you will be able to find 8 different options ranging in colors and general trim levels. Paint-wise, you have your standard selection of matte finishes plus factory metallic colors. And now the exterior accessories, which finally do something here with the T680. From front to back, you can now customize nearly everything, with plenty of different bumper trims, different headlights, various aero trim levels, different mirrors, cabin deflectors and extenders, different fenders, and also the ability to add flow blow kits as well. Different side panel options for your sleepers, different fuel tanks, and much more can now finally be customized on the T680, which is very exciting. And within the interior of the truck, there are the standard accessory points scattered around the cabin. You can select your different seats. You can change the general interior trim from Vantage to VIT, and there are 4 different steering wheel options available. So overall, fantastic to have new customization options for this T680 Next-Gen. And what I've done today is customize this 52-inch sleeper and put this brilliant red metallic paint job on it. And we'll be hauling the brand new Windrower that is part of the Farm Machinery DLC update included within the 1.55 open beta from here in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. And we're going to head down to Little Rock, Arkansas today. And of course, being the 1.55 open beta and with Iowa just around the corner, we can now see the outline for Iowa here in the nice lighter gray color. Without further ado, let's get this T680 Next-Gen started up and get on the road. For this video, I am not using any third-party modifications. Everything you hear and see is stock in ATS or part of one of the official DLCs that you can purchase from the Steam store page. Alright, let's get rolling, and welcome to 1.55 open beta. So great to be here finally in the beta for 1.55. There's been quite a bit of talk about what's coming up here in 1.55 recently, and it is just great to finally have my hands on it, and I am so excited to complete this delivery today with this Windrower, a new cargo type for the Farm Machinery DLC, which will be updated within 1.55 as I mentioned, so anyone who owns that DLC or will purchase it in the future will have this piece of cargo. And of course, hauling it today with our ownable lowboy trailer and this beautiful T680 Next-Gen, which we can finally customize, which I am exceedingly happy about. And that is probably the headline item for 1.55, but that does not take away from the rest of the features coming in, because the list is quite extensive. So of course, the T680 Next-Gen is once again what I'll call the headline item, or the top item for this update. I'm sure a lot of us are excited for, and it's arguably one of the bigger portions that we will be able to see and really notice in terms of the update features. As I mentioned in the intro there are plenty of customization options now, different chassis, different cabins. Great to finally have it. We can now finally make this truck fit into whatever style of trucking you are trying to do here in ATS, instead of just running the limited edition, special edition for that matter, T680 Next-Gen that we've had for, well, over a year and a half now, which is crazy to say. December 2023 is when the T680 Next-Gen officially made its entry into ATS with the 100th anniversary limited edition. Obviously, we are now about halfway through 2025, so you can do the math there, my friends, for the exact timing, but needless to say, it's great that it is finally here. But that's not all on the truck side of things. We also have the 5th generation Freightliner Cascadia, or the newer Cascadia for that matter, in ATS. It has had some updates as well, some different trim pieces updated along the way, some different aero parts and just general trim and profiling changes just to make it more realistic, and of course update it for almost slightly newer model year options that are listed there. Otherwise, on the vehicle department, we have the update to the flow below kit. So in the intro, you would have noticed me talking about the flow below kit that was available for this T680 Next-Gen on select trucks and overall in the package as it rolls out. You are now going to be able to color the flow below paint parts, which is really, really nice, and just some general updates in around that kit. And then obviously the farm equipment DLC update, which I've got right behind me here, which is the primary cargo type that is coming in with that update. As far as I know, the only one, unless my brain is letting me down at this point, to which I do apologize. However, I have Prime News videos on pretty much everything, well, or at least a lot of the main features here that I'll be talking about today. So I'll make sure I have them all linked up in the cards above, or at least I'll do my best to remember to put them all up there in the according time slots. Check that out if you want to learn a little bit more information on that. If not, comment down below and one of the fantastic community members or myself will reply to you with some correct information. There's been some gameplay changes as well coming in with 1.55, primarily with the Driving Academy. There's a new module that have come in there for those who like the Driving Academy feature, which is definitely a great start for a lot of newer drivers in American Truck Simulator, or just those experienced veterans that just want to test their skills out a little bit. The Driving Academy is actually a lot of fun, and so there's a truck driving proficiency a module that is now available there, at least as of the 1.55 update, whenever it fully releases out of beta. And then the map improvements as well. So this one is a little bit more on a bit of a UI side, but kind of goes into gameplay. And I have them listed out here. If you are wondering why I'm kind of knocking through these a little bit here, I do apologize, but want to talk about it because they didn't do a Prime News on it. The My Location hotkey. So basically, you can now, in the map view, basically select, or you can customize, as far as I know, the hotkey itself to basically recenter you back to wherever you are. So if you're looking around the map, as the map is getting quite extensive now, if you want to just return to where you are parked, you can hit, I can't remember what mine is actually binded to because I have so many custom bindings, but I believe it could be the F key on your keyboard. I believe, I'll confirm on screen. If not, that should be default, and then you will be able to recenter yourself back up into wherever you are on the map. So that's really handy. A bit of a ease of use introduction there, but a great one nonetheless. Speaking about the UI side of things, the mailbox, or the email location basically in American Truck Simulator, has been updated. So the UI or UX has been redesigned a little bit there, just to make everything a little bit more smooth and again, just align it with the rest of the UI updates that have been coming in for American Truck Simulator for many updates now. So everything is just progressional in that sense. So the mailbox is finally getting it, just making things laid out a little bit nicer. That's something that you can explore on your own if you want to try out the update, or whenever the update finally releases and your game inevitably updates, if you don't have, unless if you have automatic updates off, but that's another story. Just a little bit of UI redesign there, nothing too crazy on that one. And to go along with that, in the options menu, specifically in the graphics settings, there's been a few quality of life improvements. There's new visualization features, or basically extensions to the help tool that shows up on the right hand side when you're looking at different options, the descriptions of what the different options change basically in the game. There's now going to be a comparison for some of the visual options to say, okay, at this percentage, how will this image look basically? okay, 50% is going to look this granulated, then 100% is this, 400%, for example, is this. Handy tool, honestly. Just allows you to give a quick representation of what are the two bits there, how are they related, and of course, how are the different settings going to affect visual performance, which is sometimes tricky, to be honest, here in American Truck Simulator. As get a little bit of cloud cover here. It can be a little bit tricky, I won't lie to you on that one. Some settings significantly impact performance compared to others, some do not. So that is definitely something that will take some trial and error still, and I'm actually working on something that will be a helpful tool when it comes to that bit of a tutorial, but we'll get to that whenever that tutorial releases. But again, quality of life improvement, great to see overall. There is also apparently, according to the changelog on the blog post for the 1.55 update, for those owners of the Nebraska DLC, there's apparently some new content actually added to the DLC. I personally have not actually looked on the map to confirm this or not, but I will have to do so, and I will make sure it's corrected in the comments. I'll do a pinned comment if I get any of this wrong. But the US 20, the 81, and the 75 have had some new content brought in, or some updates there. And also Laurel has had a little bit of a change, according to the changelog. Now, there's no specific section of the blog post for the 1.55 open beta talking about this. However, it is listed, and I will confirm in the top comment if it is not there. But as far as I know, it is there, which is, for those who own the Nebraska DLC, additional new free content. Can you really complain? I'm not. And then on the, well, let's say other realm of things, but honestly, a big behind-the-scenes change for American Truck Simulator, and it's actually been demoed for a while on ATS 2 in its own beta, and that is asynchronous loading. Yes, it's behind the hood, or under it, depending on how you want to use that analogy. But it is quite significant, and driving through here today, I am happy to say the stuttering seems to be gone. For those who don't know, asynchronous loading basically changes how the rest of the game is loaded into American Truck Simulator and all the different assets and so on. It's just how the engine processes the data coming in, and it works it, well, asynchronously. That in itself has basically tried to combat the long-going battle in SCS software games, ETS2 and ATS, with there being occasional stutters as you're driving throughout, well, different countryside roads, or even here on the highways, and especially in cities. There'd be this pretty good hesitation at times, depending on your computer, depending on what type of storage you're running on, and the processing speed of it, or for that matter, the transfer speed. Sometimes it was enhanced basically on certain storage devices versus others. That stuttering, that being. With the asynchronous loading, even with my system, which this is running on all solid state, or the game is running on solid state drives, and my computer in general only has solid state storage in it. So quite quick. I have not noticed that extra kind of herky-jerky loading, if you want to call it that, which is absolutely fantastic. And I know in recent weeks, in the ETS2 beta that's been going on, I've been keeping an eye on some of the different forums and so on, and comments coming in and around that feature. It's really improved, and in particular, I guess it's the 1% lows, if I'm getting this correct, that is the significant improvement in how the loading works in the respective games. So that is a significant improvement in terms of performance and perceived playability, which is great. Again, a big feature, but under the hood. It's been talked about quite a bit and raised for the significance that it definitely should have, because it is a major addition that will really help the engine moving forward, and a lot of players, depending on your again, computer profiles and different configurations that you may have, it really does help moving forward, and it does have, as far as I can tell, a fairly significant impact on the loading of the game. Now, sometimes, you know, the render distance can still be a little bit weird, and some textures may load in at times and things may pop, but the more smooth local gameplay from around your truck without it really impacting, you know, as it loads in the elements farther out as it normally would, but just in a different process. Absolutely fantastic. Loving this so far. Haven't noticed any hiccups, and I'm happy to say hopefully that stays. SES Software has also done an update to the Steam achievements as well, and how they're, well, achieved in ATS. And again, that's behind the scenes things. There's just some different improvements to how the engine recognizes different Steam achievements, so on, and same with the save manager as well. You may have noticed just in the top left-hand corner, and that was actually fantastic timing. I love how sometimes that works out for the benefit of everything. The save has a new bit of an icon to it, and it saves, instead of the little loading saving sign, it has a little different icon to it, but it also has changed how the save manager works, and has definitely improved that, again, the performance of it. Normally it wouldn't hang up while you're driving. I never really had it where when an autosave was happening, it would impact performance of the game. But for some, it could have, especially for those who run a lot of mods. And again, that could still be an issue with this. Don't get me wrong. This isn't a be and all. This isn't a fix everything situation, but it is a great introduction as well. Again, behind the scenes, loving these engine updates. It's amazing that, you know, these games are still being updated these many years later, and they're not stopping. And SES Software is making that clear, and there's some major features coming down the line for both respective games, but specifically here on American Truck Simulator, as new map expansions come out, the quality continues to improve. More data is being run through systems. Just the bar keeps going up, so things have to catch up. That's where the asynchronous loading, save manager, and even how the Steam achievements are managed all come into play. This allows SES Software more flexibility moving forward and allows us a smoother experience overall playing ATS. So once again, can't really complain on that front. And with that, somehow talking throughout the entire thing about the 1.55 open beta and the features that it brings, we are rolling into, or at least very near to, our final delivery for today. And that, my friends, shows the significance in terms of the size of this update at very least. 1.55 is no slouch. Yes, there are many features there that aren't per se that massive, but they are significant in their own right. And again, a big part to the collective improvement of ATS. And actually, I lied. There was one extra thing that I completely looked over in my list here, and that is actually new custom city intros for New Mexico. So for those who own Mexico DLC, you can explore some of the new city intros for those who are starting at least a new career in one of the various cities selected. I can't quite remember them off the top of my head, but basically the main starting cities in New Mexico, they're all there, which is fantastic. I love the custom city intros, a little bit more information, nicer cinematics, just, again, more updated, which is always great to see. And as then various DLCs get reworked, those intros will have some nicer content to look at as well, or at least more updated, which is always good. All right, so where do I have to park this trailer? Oh, there we go. So, hold on. Do I have to... I can't drive under that, can I? I don't think so, because the door is not all the way open. So I guess we'll go around the other side, and I am going to have a really fun reverse here. And I'm not sure how this is going to go, to be honest. It's going to be blindside because I decided to come in the wrong way. But that's okay. I'm going to accept it and just make it work to the best of my ability. So let's come back this way. And I'll try and maybe actually use my mirror. Did I set my mirror? I didn't set my mirror. Okay. So this is the point in the video where I ask all my hardcore supporters to maybe just listen to this final segment and not watch, because we are going to use the exterior cam today instead of setting my mirrors mid-video, because I could do that, but I wanted just to, you know, do something different. Let's just class it at that. I'm going to try and reverse this normally, and to be honest, I haven't even set this up anyway, so I don't think setting my mirrors would have really helped in that matter, because I didn't do a very good job at accounting for the turning radius of this T680. As I've never driven until today, obviously, the 52-inch sleeper variant of this truck, it does have a slightly different wheelbase compared to its predecessor, or I guess still the version that's in here, ATS. And again, I am having a rightful challenge. Okay, let's just regroup here, Prime. Let's see. I need to give myself more space, and I need to get it turning a lot earlier as well. Let's do this. Turns out maybe it would have been better for me just to set my mirrors and then reverse it anyways, because that's what I've actually gotten more used to, or I try to get used to anyways, because that's how I tend to drive in this game. Oh my word. I am finding out. Okay, this is going to be a little bit close. A little bit close indeed. I am finding out that reversing exterior cam for me is not always the best thing. Or maybe it's just me. You know, I am Prime Simulation. If there's one thing that you can count on, it's a little bit of a sketchy reverse situation. Sometimes I nail it. Some days I am just on a different level. And some days I quickly humble myself to realize that, okay, yeah, nowhere close, bud. And I think today is one of those days. But that doesn't take away from the fantastic truck, nor the trailer involved. That is just classic Prime Simulation setup blunder, if you ask me. Well, thank you all so much for watching this episode. Yes, a little bit more of a podcast style, I guess more than my other videos, which I guess many would argue is already a podcast to begin with. But thank you all so much for watching. Let me know down below what you think about the 1.55 open beta update for ATS, and how many of you have already opted into the beta, which you can do, by the way, through Steam. I forgot to say this earlier. Via the betas tab, the game will update, and there you go. But I do recommend saving your profile separately and not just overwriting the save, as you never know if there could be issues. Again, this is a beta and not a final release. But honestly, I'm very excited for 1.55, and I'll be doing more videos here on it, and of course patiently waiting for the Iowa DLC, which is just around the corner now. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.